Hi. You know, Christians make a lot of enemies, but we also make a lot of friends. I made friends with the Creation Guys. If you haven't heard of them, they've got this website called thecreationguys.com. They've got a YouTube channel, The Creation Guys. Basically, Eric Hovind and some of his friends talking about the important issues, you know, intelligent design, creationism, answering objections to skeptics, stuff like that. And I kind of got involved in their 4th episode, let them know they were doing a good job. We talked about vestigial organs, stuff like that, and just wanted you to give you a heads up, let you know what they were all about, and hopefully you'll check out their website. So, just going to play the episode that I was involved in, and, enjoy, guys. Keep it up, Creation Guys. You're doing a good job.
This is Jonathan Sampson and Eric Hovind back again with the Creation Guys, episode number cuatro, amigo.
We're here with number 4, baby. Never thought we'd make it this far, but this is good.
We're halfway there.
We are. So somewhere.
Yeah. Hopefully we're nowhere near halfway there. But anyway, today we are going to address some of the questions that were sent in the past week to our YouTube page and see if we can't help out some people find the answers they are seeking. So
appreciate you guys writing in.
Yes, if you guys want to get your answers...
Your questions
answered on future episodes. Check us out on youtube.com/thecreationguys. Send your comments there, and we'll address them in future episodes. And also subscribe.
And subscribe.
Yes.
What's the first one? Where are we going?
Today, Eric, the first one is a challenge to you. It is, what is the difference between intelligent design and creationism? Because the evolutionists out there say it's the same thing.
Yeah, there is a big misconception out there, and Eugenia Scott is trying to say, well, intelligent design is just creation repackaged. Don't you know they proved that in the court of law?
Oh, yeah.
And they're trying to use that. Bottom line is it's not. That's a straw man argument. I'll be the first to admit that creationists view evidence from a biased perspective. Evolutionists, would you be willing to admit that you also view evidence from a biased perspective? I look at the facts, the evidence that we have, and I interpret it based on the creation worldview. Evolutionists look at facts and interpret it based on the evolution worldview. We're all looking at the exact same facts. We're just coming to different conclusions. Intelligent design people are great scientists. Some of them are atheists. Some of them are creationists. Some of them are evolutionists. Yet they're coming to a different conclusion. What they're doing is, or what intelligent design people are doing is saying, look, it's obvious based on the science that we see, based on the facts that we see, there was a designer. So they're simply drawing conclusions from what they see. Creation is taking it a whole lot farther, saying not only is there a designer, I can tell you who that designer is, what he wants for your life. He even wrote a book for you to read to get the truth about that. So it takes it a whole lot farther. Intelligent design is just being intellectually honest and saying design demands a designer. I was amazed to hear Richard Dawkins admit that at the end of the movie Expelled. He's open to the idea of intelligent design.
Yeah. Quick, before we get in trouble for trying to call Richard Dawkins a theist or something, he was open to the idea of intelligent design within the realms of aliens planting us here.
Right.
Which many of them are very open to. That's the thing.
That's intelligent design right there.
Yeah, that's intelligent design. They don't say God did it.
Exactly.
It's totally different.
So to wrap it up, there's a lot of fields of study that have no problem with design. I mean, whether it's forensics or archaeology, an archaeologist, when he finds an arrowhead and sees, look, there's obvious chippings here, there's obviously markings, this was designed for a purpose. He doesn't look at that arrowhead and say, wow, I wonder how erosion and mechanical weathering, and acid rain had an effect on this piece of rock to turn it into this specific shape. He admits there's a designer, and scientists out there in the intelligent design movement are doing the same thing.
Well, that pretty much makes it very clear.
Yeah.
So they're not the same thing. Also, there's another lecture that Dr. Georgia Perdone gave on the intelligent design movement. There's a link at the bottom of the screen here.
Check it out.
If they want to dive deep in that stuff, she did a great presentation on that.
Good job.
The next question is about vestigial organs and bones in whales. And that
Death blowed to creationism right there, man. That's a tough one.
If only the Lord would send us a man capable of...
Look, the bottom line is, the creationist answer is God just did it that way.
That's good enough for me, man.
That's good. We don't need science to back us up.
No, you know what I think the answer is, the best one? The devil planted those bones there to test our faith.
The devil put those bones in the whale just to test our faith. There's only people out there like it.
Where you are, we got VenomFangX from YouTube.
No way.
Good friend of ours is going to take this one for us.
Venom, thank you, my friend. Thank you for hooking us up on this. Vestigial structures. What's the truth about them?
Let's ask VenomFang.
Thanks, Creation Guys, for asking me to speak about vestigial organs. My name is Sean, for those of you who don't know me. I'm on YouTube, known as VenomFangX there. Vestigial organs. Most evolutionists, quite frankly, are too embarrassed to mention them when they're arguing for evolution these days, because most of the arguments they've made for vestigial organs, so they call them, have been debunked horribly. They used to claim that the appendix and the tailbone in humans were vestigial, that they were leftovers from an evolutionary history. They've been shown to actually be quite functional. The tailbone connects to 9 very important muscles, which, if you didn't have, you'd be in a lot of trouble. And the appendix is actually part of the digestive system, and though it is not key to living, I mean, I could cut off my ears and live without them. You can take out your appendix and live, but it actually is very helpful in digesting various herbs, various plants, because men used to be vegetarian. That's what the Bible says. So it makes sense that we would have an organ that primarily digests vegetarian substances. And since we now eat meat a lot, its use has been de-emphasized. As for, like, whales, they claim that the pelvis on a whale was vestigial, but the pelvis on a whale is not a pelvis. It differs in the males and the females, which you would not expect if it was a vestigial organ. It's actually part of their reproductive and rectal system, so they need that too. There is a wealth of information on the internet regarding that vestigial organs are simply not vestigial, but there's also a great book called Vestigial Organs Are Fully Functional by Dr. Bergman and Dr. Howe, which you can also check out. Alright, guys. Take it away.
Wow.
Cool.
Thank you, VenomFang, for hooking us up. Make sure to check out his website, thewaythetruth.com. Great stuff.
Yeah. So next question was
Human chromosome number 2.
Numbers.
What in the world do we do with human chromosome number 2?
All
What
right.
is it?
So this is actually a pretty popular topic with evolutionists out there today. One of the biggest names on YouTube right now, one of the evolutionists, is Kenneth Miller.
Yeah.
First, I almost said Henry Morris.
He's definitely not on YouTube.
So Kenneth Miller is on there, and he's talking about human chromosome number 2. And this is simply because human chromosome number 2 appears to be the result of fusion. But if we look at human chromosome number 2 on a human karyotype, we see that there are 2 sets of telomeres. Telomeres generally exist repetitive sequences of DNA at the ends of the chromosomes, and they find 2 of those in the center of chromosome number 2, and then 2 of those expected on the outside of it.
So why are they saying this is evidence of evolution?
Well, they also find 1 centromere on there, with remnants possibly of a 2nd centromere. That I believe they found DNA that usually is around centromeres in another place. So maybe a kind of vestigial 2nd centromere. And evolutionists are saying, look, if we look at chromosome number 2, it is very similar to chromosome 12 and 13 in chimpanzees.
Gotcha.
And so what happened was, while we were evolving or descending from our common ancestor, well, we had some fusion, and they didn't, and the orangutans didn't, and the apes didn't, but we did. And so basically,
so that's their evidence.
That's
we
their
are
evidence.
fused. It looks like they're 12 and 13.
Exactly. And so if we strip away the bias, as you talked about, and point number 2 here, the ID in creation science, if we strip away the bias and just look at the facts, as everyone should, the facts are, yes, it's likely humans have experienced fusion in the past, and we see that in human chromosome number 2, but what does that mean?
That's where they're interpreting it.
Yeah, they're casting their own stories on this.
Correct. It's
Now,
that
in
narrative
reality,
gloss that we've talked about.
that Philip Skell talked about,
Yeah.
an evolutionist himself, talked about how evolution is just a narrative gloss. It comes in after the fact and tries to create a fancy little story for something.
Right.
And so when we strip away that story, this giant of evolutionary evidence becomes nothing more than just another biological phenomenon.
Yep. Didn't you say, what was the stats you were talking about the animals?
The web-footed marsh rat in Brazil, I'll put the actual technical name up here, but they went and they found 46 or 42 individuals of this species, and they looked at the karyotypes of them. They actually brought their chromosomes up on the screen, and they have varied ridiculously. It was 26 distinct different karyotypes
in one species.
In one species, and they didn't check. They only checked about 42 different individuals.
Wow!
And so it just goes to show that the way a karyotype looks really doesn't have that much impact on the way that creature.
It's what kind of information is it?
It's
carrying.
what's on there exactly. And so the information that's actually on there is what counts. It doesn't matter if human chromosome number 2 looks like fusion. That has nothing to do with it. this is like a superficial, naive argument.
Yeah.
And so really, when you strip away the storytelling, it's just another biological phenomenon, and it is completely compatible with the creation model. So that was episode 4. This is Eric
Number
Copeland
4 in the
and
can.
Jonathan Sampson. Check out his website, drdiner.com. We want
And
to
check
thank
out
Venom Fang.
Creation Guys website, creationguys.com.
Yes, and we want
And
to
Venom Fang, thank you. The
The
way,
way,
the truth.
The truth.com.
.com.
So this is episode 4, In That Can we always talk about.